Hi, this is Graphically Alex coming at you with all things fat related. If that's something that interests you, please subscribe. I love to have you. And today we are going to be reacting to Gabriella. She used to be a body positive influencer, and you guys were suggesting I react to this. I definitely want to, because from what I understand, the zombie horde was very upset with her for doing this. So let's see. I'll try to let you guys know my thoughts and try to translate any of the zombieism, aka E followed by the letter D, the toxic ritualistic, etc. Why this would piss people off at the very least. I want to see what was so horrible about what she said. So let's go ahead and watch.
I used to be a body positivity influencer, preaching a simple message: love yourself at any size. Then I risked it all.
I don't care how trendy or cute or fun it seems to be fat. You gotta really think about your health. Love yourself at any size, but don't forget that your heart has to beat, babes.
I'm gonna tell you how I got here. From championing body positivity to renouncing it. My story starts like this. Since I was a little girl, I always knew I was bigger. But I'm from the Bronx, where having a curvy body and a fat ass is what you want. When you're Latina, you get called gordita, and it's a term of endearment. Fluffy, like Gabriel Iglesias used to say.
I called myself fat around my mom, and she was like, "Mijo, you're not fat, you're fluffy."
It wasn't until college that I learned in the rest of the country, thinness is the beauty standard. Even worse, fat people are seen as lazy and dumb.
I'm doing horizontal running.
It wasn't just a fun thing to be fluffy, it was actually something people found disgusting.
Run for the hills, it's Fatzilla.
Studies show fat people are often treated worse in healthcare. And for women, the heavier we are, the less we're paid. I eventually learned that this discrimination has a name: fat phobia. I never planned on being a body positivity influencer. I wanted to be an actress, I wanted to be a star.
I love Beyonce.
But being plus size, I never felt like it was possible, and so I started my YouTube channel in 2010.
Make like a semicircle type of effect. But it's just a simple tank top, and it only costs like 13 bucks.
That's when I started to get more attention from other plus size women about how empowered they felt watching my content, and that just made me feel like I had a bigger purpose in what I was creating. I started posting more intentionally.
You woke up for a reason. You didn't wake up to feel bad about yourself.
Sometimes about plus size fashion.
They actually look like a legit 3X. They look big.
Or travel.
I deserve to be on this flight just as anyone else.
Brands started sending me clothes to model.
I have a collaboration with Boohoo. So I partner with GS Love Me. Thank you to Forever 21 for sponsoring this video.
I was on magazine covers and making headlines. It was the late 2010s.
So I think it's interesting to consider like how people fall into fat acceptance, basically, or how they fall into this type of thing. I think it's really important to keep in mind the context, which I know we hear so much about the 2000s, especially from millennials, that it's just like incessant. Trust me, I know. But it was tough in the 2000s to be fat. It was weird. It was very, very weird. And I feel like you kind of had this bizarre experience where no matter what, somebody had an opinion. So whether it was like, you should, like, you're fine the way you are, or you're not fine the way you are, or oh my gosh, I can't believe that part of your body showing, or whatever. It was kind of like all of the above and all the time in the 2000s, basically. And I think that it was what led to a sort of bloom of body positivity in the 2010s. Because it was kind of like, I just don't want to care anymore. I don't want to think about it anymore. I think it was a lot of like, I'm done thinking about it. There's also a lot of things that happen behind the scenes in the 2010s, like obesity being classified as a disease. A lot of articles and news outlets were stating that weight loss was impossible in 2014. So it started to go from a maybe I should fix this, or should I feel tortured about this, to a this is never going to change. And so then that also led to body positivity rising, because it came from this idea that it was impossible to change for a lot of people. And you see it kind of falling away now that you have some people downsizing publicly, whether it's naturally or with Ozempic or whatever else. I mean, they're really heavily pushing Ozempic, even though I keep trying to tell people, like, not everybody's on it. So it's not that, like, prolific where everybody's using it. It isn't like that. So, yeah.
And body positivity exploded.
Oh, so I was just saying, like, you saw that and sorry, I just lost my train of thought. You saw that, and then body positivity kind of faded away because a lot of it was based on the idea that you couldn't change, which was never true. So I wonder if that's part of what brought her to body positivity, fat acceptance, etc. Because it came from a lot. It essentially in the 2010s, it was a coping strategy for most people, which, again, I was very much in the TR, E fall by letter D, in the 2000s and in the early 2010s. I was in it very deep until 2014 when I developed awareness. The zombie Alex developed self-awareness. And so from that point, it was a little bit different for me. But prior to that, it was just like, oh my gosh, I'm so downtrodden. Oh my gosh, I feel like, I could have done better in life if I wasn't fat. Like, you just have all these thoughts. They're like an incessant, constant running commentary. And it becomes the reason for literally everything. It's just an easy explanation. So much so that when I was downsizing sustainably by 2024 and I was no longer super morbid, I became tortured at the thought of, like, oh my gosh, I can't blame everything on my size anymore. Like, I have to actually use my brain again. And it was really, really tough. Like, it was very rusty to not have that mental framework of everything's bad. It's because I'm fat. I couldn't use that anymore during that time. And that was tough. So I think people don't realize, like, how ingrained those things get. And then when you combine social media with it, you have all these other people supporting you in it because they're zombies. The zombies find you. So she makes a video and she sees all this support and she thinks, oh, okay, this could be a niche. This could be something I could do because there's a lot of people that are wanting this type of content, but they're zombies. So it's weird. So if you shift, then you step on the fungus, then you step on the horde, and then you must face a backlash.
Brand featured 3 plus-size models.
Full-figured, plus-sized lady.
American Vogue, Sports Illustrated.
A huge step forward for body positivity.
I ain't no size 2, but I can shake it, shake it.
Seeing a community that welcomes you with open arms and tells you there's no pressure to look this way, to be this certain weight. I mean, does that not sound like paradise? Then, over time, I got heavier and heavier. I've always been an adventurous person, but there was a lot I couldn't do anymore. Fitting into the seats on roller coasters, planes. I couldn't wear heels, my dresses wouldn't zip up. And that wasn't all.
When you're bigger, you might not be able to wipe as well as a thinner person. You can't reach because there's no space.
Some days I would look at photos and not even recognize myself. I'm only 5 feet tall, and at my heaviest, I was close to 400 pounds.
Yeah.
I started to wonder if loving myself at any size.
So that's very tough. So once you're reaching very, very big sizes, then you start to really see how many barriers there are. And it's a lot. It's a lot. It's constant. Like, I don't have it on my mind all the time anymore because it's been years now since I've been that big. But it was really a lot of work. And it was why I was tortured in 2024, because it's like I didn't have to think about all that all the time. And I was like, what do I do? with my mental bandwidth. I don't know what to do. I have all this extra like energy and space in my brain because this whole mental matrix to survive supermorbid obesity is no longer necessary. So I have to look for other things. I have to find other explanations. I have to find other ways of doing things and have a complete lifestyle shift, which was really difficult. And I don't think that people give themselves enough credit or give people enough credit that have been huge for a long time that do get down, because it's a lot of mental work, and people talk about the mental side a lot, but most of these conversations, they're entirely centered on emotion, which I do think emotion is a big part of it, but it's not the only part of it. It's also like, how do I practically function in my life? How do I practically go about my day by day? Or how do I think? How do I even think? You know, and I think people don't understand how difficult it is to build your whole life on a delusion that you could never lose weight and then realize that that was a lie. And then it makes you question everything, because something like your weight, especially when you're very big, it's something that you have to base your whole life around. And when that no longer is the thing to base your life around, it can be really scary. Because it's like, well, then what is it based on? Then who am I? Then what am I doing? Where am I going? What's going to happen to me? Life becomes unpredictable. And that is really, really challenging for people to go through. And a lot of people get caught up, and that's why they fall off, and then they start to regain, or they start to flounder, which I'm going to say it again, not out of hate, but out of love. But Jasmine on YouTube, she's tortured. She's struggling. She's sabotaging herself. She's not doing that great. She's refusing to evolve, like her food choices and stuff. There's a reason for that, because if she has to, then where does that stop? Where does it go? How is her life going to change? You see? It's not about the food. It's about the questions. It's about your lifestyle. It's about a feeling of no longer being connected to what was the ground of your life. I think that's why it's hard for people to leave. And add to that the social stigma, which I think is what Gabriella also got. It's really tough. It's very hard, because the longer you're very big, the more of a reaction people have. When you start to get to like morbidly obese, people start to get really freaked, because you kind of become a fixture in their lives too. You become something that never changes. And so when you do, it's like really crazy. Versus if you were like a mid-sized princess and you lost some weight, it's not that big of a deal. Most people don't care that much. Sorry to the MSPs who want everybody to care, but most people don't. But when you're very big, you're like a very big fixture in people's lives, and they are freaked out. It's so hard to explain. It's more rare of an experience, but for those of you that have experienced it, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's very bizarre. So she's experiencing that on a public level, which means there's even more people, and there's all these zombies that are freaking out over it.
Had become an excuse to ignore how big I was getting. I felt like I saw myself being brainwashed, essentially. Meanwhile, the language around body positivity began sounding more extreme online.
There are a few words that I don't allow. Healthy is one of them.
This comes up a lot when I talk about how the word obese is a slur.
I don't want to step on the scale at the doctor's. I say, oh, I don't want to be weighed today.
Intentional weight loss is fat phobic.
This is what makes exercise fat phobic.
It's rooted in fat phobia. It's not rooted in science. It doesn't work.
I've even seen celebrities being attacked for losing weight.
This morning, Kelly Clarkson facing criticism after revealing she's taking a prescription medication for weight loss.
The slimmed down star is facing criticism after her noticeable weight loss.
It wasn't always like this. Years before, I had often talked about weight loss without getting hate.
The last couple days, I was feeling really, really like depressed. And I was like, I need to get my ass out there and work out.
Today's video is going to be a what I eat in a day video to lose weight.
But as the body positivity community became more radical, I was scared to say the wrong thing. So I stayed silent.
So that's hard too, because within the zombie horde, it's okay to attempt. It's not okay to succeed. And people don't understand that. So people can think, oh, like nobody cared in the past when I said I wanted to do it, or nobody really, like it was seen as normal before. It's not that it was normal before, it's that you weren't succeeding, because it was probably just as bad back then. If you would have actually succeeded, people would have freaked, because it's the success, it's the shift, it's the change that is so distressing to the zombies. It's not the attempt. Nobody, in my opinion, I mean, nowadays, some people will be like, oh my gosh, you know, if you just say like, I'm trying or whatever, but you have to be pretty deep in the fat acceptance world, which she was in it. So I understand that. But it's, I think even like just in general, if you're that big, when you start to succeed, it freaks people out a little bit, just because everybody's been told that it's impossible for so long. So you become like this weird, like I called it the albatross effect when I was in the morbid era, but you become the albatross. You become this thing that's like, you're a living testimony of delusion being false, which is really a lot of pressure. And to experience that so publicly, like to have a huge following. I didn't have a huge following when I was doing it, but I didn't know what was coming. I didn't know that that was going to happen, that people were going to be really like scared, like actually scared when I was getting towards like a small fat phase. Now, I've had other glow ups or eras or whatever where I've seen reactions from the general population. When I became mid-sized, people became angry, which was interesting. And then when I became more average, internationally averaged, leaning snatched in America, which is kind of sad, but it just shows how awful our standards are in America. But internationally average is what I would consider myself now. I got like scorn or like salt. It's like a silent salt. So you can kind of see the difference. But when I was morbid and coming from a huge size, people were scared. It was like fear, which is very weird. It's a very, very weird feeling. And all I can say is once you get out of morbid, you're not going to scare people, you know? But it's different when it's like fear. Because you're like, what the fuck? Like, I'm just losing weight. Like, why is this a big deal? But it's literally like, and then you also feel fearful yourself. So it's like people, it's so crazy. It is so weird. But that's only going to be true for people who are like really, really big for a long time. So yeah, it's just a trip. It's a trip.
Then my friend died.
Oh.
She was a body positivity influencer who founded the world's first plus-size salon.
All bodies, all sizes, and has custom chairs that hold up to 800 pounds.
She was just someone I consider like a big sister. Taught me about business and taught me about the movement. I worried about her a lot. After she was bedridden because of heart failure, Jamie expressed her desire to lose weight.
I haven't left the house in 2 years, and I just learned to walk again.
I really believed that she was going to make it out of it. But in late 2022, she died at 37, reportedly from heart complications.
Yeah,
like, I didn't want her to feel like I was trying to tell her what to do, and I kind of wish I would have spoke up maybe more. And just let her know that I cared.
And she wasn't the only one. Yeah. A week later, another body positivity influencer posted this video.
I ruined my life with food, binge eating, and lack of self-care. I'm hoping that it's not too late for me this time.
Just months before, Brittany said she developed type 2 diabetes and serious weight-related skin infections.
So my pelvic region is literally the size of like a large purse. It's extremely swollen and hard.
1 week after posting that video, begging the universe for another chance at life,
it's really scary how bad things can get.
She died. She was 28. I don't know for sure if Jamie and Brittany died because of their size, but hearing their own regrets, I couldn't help but think of myself. It was one thing to sacrifice my adventurous lifestyle.
It's
It was another.
devastating because you have to understand too, the zombie horde will do everything in their power to not talk about it. It is silent. You notice they never said anything about either of them. They never will. As far as they're concerned, in their mind, they never existed. It's horrible. But they can't actually acknowledge, because if they do, then they have to stop. And so they won't. And as far as for her specifically, her wake-up call, it is really drastic to be like, oh my gosh, I think I've been told these things and I believed them, but clearly they're false since they died. And it's like, that is very final. And it is very tragic. And I tried, when I first started this activism, I told you guys so many times, I said, do not let it get as bad as what I've gotten to. Do not do it. I used to say all the time, do not become super morbidly obese. It's very hard to get out of it. And not everybody has a chance to get out. Most people that get there never get out. And it's because it's very difficult. And people tend to, you wait too long. A lot of people wait too long. And so it's unfortunate, but that's why I keep trying to tell you guys, or why I've tried to tell you guys, especially in the beginning, and I still do, that it is life and death. It is a big deal. And women can handle obesity longer, but it takes them longer to get out of it. So it's kind of scarier, because you can have a mirage of health or a mirage of being okay as a woman. It's a little bit harder as a man, because our bodies cannot handle the hormones as well. So we are typically very aware that the end is nigh, you know, and the mood issues and all that stuff, they're more drastic in men and quicker. With women, it takes longer to break down the system. But like I said, once you try to turn the ship around, it can take a lot longer to get out. And so women are well, I would say both are at high risk, but everybody's at high risk. But it's kind of like a lot of women feel deceptively okay, and they're not. And I used to feel that way too. It's just I hit that wall at 28 years old, where I was like, oh my God, I'm going to die. Like, I have to stop what I'm doing immediately. A lot of people don't hit it that early. A lot of women have at least a decade longer than that. So it's like you get more entrenched. But it's scarier. I mean, men die all the time and fast from obesity-related complications. So I'm not trying to say it's any less scary for men. It's not. But I think women are in more of a risk of feeling like they're okay, and they're not. Because I said it so many times the first year I did this. I said, you think you're fine until you're not. And your health, it doesn't just slowly go down. It collapses. You have a moment where your body gives up and you really fall fast, and it happens quickly. Like, you get these foreshocks and you're like, am I okay? It's like you feel the edges kind of rattling, and then it calms down again, because your body is a survivor. So your body's trying to survive. So then you come back from the edge, and then you think, okay, I'm fine. But then one day you go to that edge again, and it shakes and it just collapses. And then you're going to be either in a very tough uphill battle, which is what I went through, or you're going to try to turn it around, but you're not going to have the coping mechanisms or the skills, and it's going to be too late, and you're going to end up passing away. And for me, where I was lucky is that I am crazy in the sense that, like, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was my, to be a cheesy gay astro girly pop for a moment. I have a Scorpio rising, and it's like I knew I was dying, and my Scorpio side was like, you're not fucking dying. And it was like that. It was like it turned on, like, no, you're not. And so I just like held on through sheer spite, and I completely shifted my lifestyle, and I never messed up. I never messed up. I had a complete adherence due to survival concerns. A lot of people can't do that. A lot of people can't do that sudden shift, but that's what I did because I was like, I have to try. And if I have to try, I have to basically be perfect. So it was like that scorpionic side. And then I do have Jupiter and Virgo. That Jupiter and Virgo is like, you're going to be fucking perfect. And so I did it and I got out. But a lot of people, they're not like that. They get to that point where they're starting to die and they're not able to flip a switch like I was. A lot of people can't. A lot of people are like, oh, I kind of want to do this easily. And when you get that bad, you can't. You can do that as a mid-sized princess. You can be cute. If you're mid-sized, you can be like, I don't know, I want to take my time, but like, I still think you should lose it, but because it's not healthy to be overweight, but it's like, it's not like as dire. But when you're super morbidly obese, like, you have to understand it's going to take a year, 2 years sometimes to get out. It's tough. And sometimes your body is so fried, you have to do it slowly to give yourself a better chance too. Because really, really rapid weight loss can be really harsh. So I can't say, it's like, I can't tell somebody what they can and cannot do. I have no idea because you don't know somebody's bodily state when they're like that. And it's like you have to make all these difficult decisions. It's like, do I try to go faster so that I can get down faster, or do I go steadier? Like, what do I do? I knew for me, I needed to go steady and slowly. But I developed a hyper awareness of my body. I stayed completely rooted and grounded in my body throughout my super morbid era. And I dealt with the hormonal fluctuations and hormonal storms. And I dealt with it all. And I just sat with it. And I felt it. And I had to monitor my health every single day, all the time, 24/7. I couldn't really think about anything else. And it was really hard. And it was to the point that when it started to improve and I started to go from like deathly hypothyroid to moderate, it triggered an identity crisis because I could actually think about something other than my health. It actually caused an identity crisis. That's how seriously I took it. That's how obsessed I was. But it helped me survive, that inner Scorpio Virgo obsession that probably led me to the E followed by the letter D. It also got me out. So it is a weird thing for me personally, but that like ability to shift dramatically of the Scorpio and the ability to be extremely anal and just like perfect with the Virgo, it like worked. So it got me out. But it's like, I just know a lot of people don't have that. And I'm just talking realistically. I'm telling you why I survived and why other people don't, and that's just a way I can think of to explain it. If you guys hate astrology, I'm very anal. I'm extremely reactive. And when something happens where I can tell that my survival is at stake, I'm a survivor. I have that grit and I'm able to shift directions. I'm able to shift dramatically, quickly. It's been that way my whole life. That's a non-astrological way to tell you. And I can be anal. I can get organized. I can be strict. For my MBTI people, I'm an INFJ. I got that J. So I can be like, I'm adhering 100%. A lot of people don't have that ability. So you don't want to wait that long because you want to be able to mess up. You want to be able to make mistakes. You want to have that buffer. And a lot of times in supermorbid obesity, you go up and down. So you need time. Time is everything when you're supermorbidly obese. And if you waste it, it might be too late. You really got to get it together.
Another to put my life at risk. And so I just pressed record and everything I said just came out.
I'm gonna say something controversial and I don't care. I actually feel kind of guilty for being a part of this movement. Health is real. Organs failing is real. Diabetes, heart disease, all that is real, okay? It's not fat phobic to care about your health. And this is coming from someone who's learning those lessons now, myself.
And the backlash was massive.
I've literally been seething with anger. It's blowing my mind how fast.
So what you have to understand is within the zombie horde, bringing health up is a massive trigger. People hate it. Don't ever bring up health. Don't ever bring up death. It's the same reason why the Mike Tyson ad, it just like blew up the photosphere. It blew up the zombie horde because he mentioned death and he mentioned health. You never are supposed to do that. That is like the ultimate, like, sacrosanct. I mean, Tess Holliday even used to say, like, or maybe she still does say it, I don't want to hear the word health around me. People they're actively hostile to it. Like, if you listen to what zombies say, by the way, Tess is a bloater. If you listen to what they say, it's right there. But most people don't pay attention because it's a boring topic for people that don't have the problem. So it's really hard to solve this issue because a lot of people just don't care at all.
Fat phobic you've become. You should know better and do better.
The body positivity community branded me a pariah.
And the people that do care, they're zombies. And so it's like the zombies have been leading this issue for decades because nobody else cares about it at all. In the US, nobody cares about health at all, or fitness or food or anything. People just do not give a fuck. And the people that do care, they're largely totally nuts. And then you have some people that are like half and half, like half nuts, half okay. A lot of people are like grifters and stuff. And then you have like the people that are just like, I have to be, like, they want everybody to be perfect. And then you have the people like me. And we're like a little tiny group. It's a tough time. Like for this issue, it's really hard. You have the reasonable people, and it's like the reasonable people are a small group. It's small. It's tough. But I hope that I can inspire more reasonable people to talk about this because it matters. And most people don't have an EFOB or the letter D. So if they actually engaged with this topic, it would easily overwhelm the zombies. But they won't, because as soon as they say something, everybody freaks. And they don't know. They're like, where did this come from? I'm trying to let you know. That's what we're trying to do here.
Yeah. And so I left. I want to lose more weight, but I still feel a lot better than I did before. I feel a lot more like myself.
You have to leave for your own life. Your life is not worth, it's not worth the horde. It's just not. It's not worth it at all. It's always good to no longer be a zombie. I was a clicker. I was that way for a long time. I was a zombie. You don't want to be one. You can get out. You can be cured.
Let me be clear. Not every fat person is unhealthy. Not every skinny person is healthy.
A viral rise in skinny talk.
Skinny talk, dark side of social media.
Encourages disordered eating.
So it depends on what you're saying there. What does fat mean? Within a certain context, fat meaning overweight or obese, yes, they are unhealthy. Obese class 1 is still unhealthy. Sorry. Not sorry. It is unhealthy. It creates a lot of hormone disruption. It causes dopamine signaling to be worse. It makes you moody. Already within class 1, it can make you depressed. It can elevate estrogen. It can put strain on the liver. You're more likely to have a fatty liver if you're class 1 obese. And it can make you lazier. Nobody wants to hear that, but it's true. It can. So there's a lot of other stuff. It affects iron absorption. It affects so many things. I need to like get good at like listing everything. That's just for class 1. You get to class 3, baby. Oh my gosh. It's like your body barely functions like a human body at that stage. Every single nutrient, you have a problem. You have low stomach acid, you have SIBO, you often have digestive upset. So whether it's too loose or too hard, you have migraines a lot of the time. You have, you're so depressed, everything, you're anxious all the time. You can have panic attacks constantly. I mean, people don't talk about this aspect of supermorbid obesity, but it's real. There's a reason why people that are SMO just sit down and don't do anything, because everything becomes so triggering. You become so hypersensitive. You can barely function in life. You have aches and pains all the time. You can't sleep because you're having sleep apnea most of the time. You have to sleep on a bunch of pillows. It's so uncomfortable. And I'm not even talking about the E followed by letter D aspect. Like you add that in, then it's like you have an obsession with it. You're constantly looking in the mirror. You see how you look. You hate it all the time. You know, from a psychological perspective, it gives you fodder to feel pain just by looking at yourself, you know, which people don't think about how reinforcing that is to that the E followed by letter D, but it is. And then, but even taking that part out of it, it's like you can't breathe. It's harder to drive. I had a hard time sitting in the car because my fat would actually block my ability to breathe in the car. It's hard to get up and out of I used to get up out of my car and get back in a lot, and it was so hard when I was huge. Like I started to get like shoulder injury. I got like a frozen shoulder from getting in and out of the car. I mean, it's like everything. Like you don't have a single second when you're super morbidly obese. You don't have a second of peace. Never. But class 1, it's still bad. It's bad. You're inflamed. You're lazier. You're more tired. It makes you moody. It makes you depressed. It makes you insecure. And people will say, it's because of society. No, it's not. It's literally your hormones. Your hormones make you insecure when you're class 1. It's not a good place to be. It's hard to get out of, though. That one's a little bit harder, particularly because of the dopamine issues. In class 1, it makes it hard to focus. It's bad. And when you have the dopamine issues and you have then it makes it harder to absorb iron. You're more likely to become anemic really easily at all stages of obesity, but including class 1. It's really easy. But you know, who needs blood, right? We don't need that. Who cares, right? It's not like it's important or anything. It's not good. So I don't know if she's totally out of it. She shouldn't be saying that. I don't like that she said that. It's bad.
If you want to get skinny, you need to gaslight yourself to skinny. View food.
So skinny talk, I have thoughts on it in general, but I think it's too umbrella of a term. Like I feel like when you say that, I don't know what it means. I don't know what you mean. Somebody like Liv Schmidt, I follow Liv. I don't like her. I really don't. Her language is too squishy, and her language is very easily used to reinforce the toxic ritualistic. It's like bait. However, like the things she says, they're not automatically there, but it's so easy for somebody in the issue to use that. So she's kind of just, she's a grifter, in my opinion. She's WLF, for the people that watch my channel. She's Fat Liberation Front. I think I'm going to change it because I like the W. Maybe I'll call it the Waist Liberation Front. But she's on that level. She's a grifter. She's money. She's money focused. So she doesn't care about the issue. There's no sense of idealism in Liv Schmidt. She's not actually trying to help anything. It's just about her bag. And there's a lot of people like that. So I don't have respect for that because I care about the cause. I'm a firefly, right? So I care about the cause. I want us to get to a place where obesity becomes rare again. And a lot of people like Liv, they don't have that feeling. They're just trying to make money. And I think it shows in her lack of care about feeding into the zombies with some of the things she says. It's like, you should care about that. Don't feed into it. We as a culture should not affirm, not feed into, not encourage, nothing, the toxic ritualistic, nothing at all. So don't say, not all fat people are unhealthy. That's not true. You're wrong.
As something that is optional always.
Not everyone can control their weight, and no one should be mistreated for it. But
that's not true.
What's not fat phobic is
I do think that people shouldn't be mistreated, but I also think that people exaggerate a lot, or people hyperfocus, and they have a psychological incentive to do that within the toxic ritualistic, because you hyperfixate on experiences that have to do with your weight and you ignore everything else so that you can continue the coping mechanism. It's all to reinforce it. So there will never be a time when society is perfect where nobody ever says anything about your weight ever, or anyone else's weight. You have to remember, it's not even just your weight. It's if somebody says something about somebody else's, then it's like they said it to you. It's an impossible standard. So, and it's intentionally impossible. So that's why I steer away from those narratives and from those conversations. I don't support body shaming, but I also live in a real world where it's going to happen every day. And what are we going to do? Are we going to be delusional, put our heads in the sand? Or are we going to live life? Because it is a very human thing to notice somebody's body and notice that it's shifting. It's always going to be there. So to live in a delusion that it will not happen is dumb. Does it have to be harped on? Does it have to be obsessed about? Does it have to be this? No. Does it have to be nasty? I don't think so, but it may happen. And just because it happens doesn't mean that you should dive head first into an E, fall by letter D. It's not an excuse. Being shamed is not an excuse for a disorder. Period. You're still choosing the disorder. Period. You could choose to ignore somebody being an asshole, or you can internalize it and create a whole toxic ritualistic lifestyle, quote unquote, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. You could become a zombie because somebody was an asshole to you, or you can let it roll off your back. What do you think is better? Because what I don't think is going to happen is we're not going to police everybody into being nice all the time. That's not going to work. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And honestly, it doesn't help. You know, I think the US has been one of the most permissive about body types, and we have the worst issue. So I don't even think it helps. But that just goes to show you it's not all that connected. Which I know that's controversial to say because people don't want to take accountability for their toxic coping mechanisms. But it's important that we do that because we have to get back to the truth of the fact that the toxic ritualistic is in our control, and that's the whole appeal of it. It is a way to get control. So if we are not honest with ourselves or others about what we're doing or why, then it just continues to get worse. And it's not going to work on me. And that's why they hate me. That's why the zombies hate me. But even if you are, if you say something against the Horde and they perceive weakness, they'll hit you harder. So remember that. They sniff out weakness. So I don't like some of her stance here. It's too weak. She's going to keep getting the zombies on her. It's risky business.
Is this. Being fat does increase your risk of health problems.
Thank you.
Studies show obese people are about 6 times more likely to develop type 2 diabetes. We have a 28% greater risk of heart disease. We have higher risk for 13 types of cancer. Up to 7 times the risk for endometrial cancer. Up to 5 times the risk for esophageal cancer. Colon, rectal, pancreatic, kidney. Higher risk of strokes. We can still be body positive while acknowledging these risks. We can still...
That's true. You can still... I really support body neutrality if you're having a toxic ritualistic issue or if you've been that way in the past. I would just say, like, let's not think about the way we look. Let's practice. Let's take a couple years off and let the brain kind of recalibrate. And it really helps. You'll be amazed at how you can just sustainably downsize because you're not thinking about how you look. It got me through. It would get you through too. So I really suggest that. But I don't think you should hate your body, especially not from a super morbid place. It's not helpful. I don't think you should in general, but it's really unhelpful when you're very big because you're too sensitive and you can't. It's too much. It's just too much.
Love ourselves, even if we want to lose weight. That's what real body positivity should stand for. Loving yourself at any size and having the freedom to change it.
Yes. And I think that you also need to think of it as an action, not a feeling. So it's like I care for myself. So that self-love is an act. It's a care. It's I take care of myself. I brush my teeth. You know what I'm saying? If I go outside and it's super cold, I make sure I'm not going to get frostbite, right? It's that type of level of care. Like we value our survival instinct, rather than subvert it into a freaking disorder. It's like, let's think about that aspect of it. I could get behind that. On this channel, we love survivors. We love survival. It's a big thing. Like I said, it goes back to my Scorpio side. I love it. I love survival. I love that I survived. So we got to do it. But anyways, I will talk to you guys later. Have a good one. See you soon. Bye.